All right. Again, thank you all for joining us for this evening's ANC3C July 2025 public meeting. We will kick things off with the establishment of a quorum. So I know 3C08 is not joining us, 3C07,
Present.
3C06,
Here.
3C05,
Here.
3C04.
Here.
3C03 is myself, and I am present. 3C02
Present.
and 3C01.
Present.
Excellent. So quorum has been established with 7 of 8 commissioners present. I can verify that notice of this meeting was sent via our website, our email list, and various listservs. We'll now move to the approval of the agenda, which also includes the approval of the items on the consent calendar. To the original draft notice, I'm proposing 2 changes of removing items, one being the number 9 letters to CFA and DDOT in support of the benches along the Cleveland Park Promenade. The CFA and DDOT have both approved those benches, so our letters are not needed anymore unless Commissioner Bose has any objection to that and wants to keep it on. We can take it off. Nope. And the other item, so item number 10, which was a letter regarding HPRB application 25-333 at 3107 24th Street Northwest. We did not receive any materials from the SMD on that. Commissioner Chabon, do you have anything to add to that bit?
Yeah, so there's a little bit of a concern from one of my constituents about some of the issues of the application. So trying to get some more. Sorry,
you're fine with pushing it off the.
Yeah. So that'd be great because we're trying to get some more clarity on what they're trying to do.
Super. Does anyone have any other changes to the consent calendar items or the agenda for the rest of this meeting, other than the 2 I've just mentioned?
Can I just clarify that,
Sure.
that the address is not, it keeps being registered as 24th Street, but it's 34th Street, which is one of the confusions.
Okay, got you. I have updated that and hopefully we'll remember to correct that moving forward. Appreciate that. Okay. Any other changes to consent or agenda? All those in favor of approving the items on the consent calendar and the agenda. Actually, I should read the items on the consent calendar first. So the items remaining on the consent calendar that would be approved with the approval of this agenda and these items is the approval of the May 2025 meeting minutes, the approval of the June 2025 meeting minutes, a letter in support of the Woodley Park for a Woodley Park-based entity having control over the Woodley Park Main Street program, a letter in support of weekly markets in Woodley Park by the Woodley Park Business Foundation, a letter in support of Woodley Park Day, a resolution congratulating and thanking Barbara Ioannis for her service to the Woodley Park Community Association, a resolution to preserve housing affordability through TOPA, a resolution to ensure sufficient funding for the Emergency Rental Act program, ERAP, a letter in support for the application by Harvard University for the review and renewal of the Campus University Plan at 3100 Whitehaven Street Northwest, which is Zoning Commission case 25-05, a letter regarding BZA case number 21339 at 2759 Woodley Place Northwest to construct a rear addition for an existing attached 2-story plus basement principal dwelling unit in the RF1 zone. A letter regarding notice of intent number 25-180-CPD related to WMATA's Better Bus Program implementation. Specifically, this NOI proposes a new bus zone on 24th Street to support the service extension of the new C53 service route to the Woodley Park Metro Rail Station. A letter regarding NOI 25-160 CPD related to the Arizona Avenue Northwest bike lanes, and a letter in support of Art All Night in Cleveland Park. All those in favor of approving let me let Jay back in.
I just did.
Okay. All those in favor of approving the agenda and the items I just read off on the consent calendar, please raise your hand or say aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is 0 to 0. So if you are here for any of the items on the consent calendar, those have been approved and will not be heard further this evening. Moving on to our next agenda item, which is presentations. There are none. So we will move to announcements and start with single member district reports. 3C01, do you have a single member district report?
Nothing to report at the moment. Thanks.
3C02.
You're shaking it up on me this month, I see. I just want to thank, as you all heard in the consent calendar, we had a resolution thanking Barbara for her service to the Woodley Park Community Association. I actually see her here as well. Barbara first joined WPCA in the 1980s and has been on the executive board since the 90s and served as president, vice president, and she's worked with the ANC on the call box repairs as well as other issues. And she is retiring from the WPCA. So we would like to thank her for everything that she has done over the past 2 decades for the Woodley Park Community Association.
Great. Thank you. Barbara, did you want to say anything or just quietly? I think we are all in appreciation of your service and your work and have appreciated working with you on various projects. All right. Okay, 3C03, that's me. I have nothing to really report other than an interagency meeting is being formed with DDOT, the zoo, DPW, MPD, all those involved regarding this tour bus parking situation at the zoo. And hopefully that will convene in the next week or so. And we'll brief back on discussions on what came out of that get together. 3C04.
I don't have anything to report at this time.
Okay, 3C05.
Nothing to report.
Okay, 3C06.
Nothing to report. Thanks.
Okay, 3C07.
No report today. Thanks.
Okay. All right, moving right along to committee reports, starting with safe, sustainable, and equitable transportation.
Sorry, that committee met earlier this month to have a presentation by DDOT on their new plan for Connecticut Avenue. We will post that to our website, the slides shortly. Basically, they're taking an intersection by intersection approach to the Connecticut Avenue corridor within 3C now. It's no longer, I believe they called it a corridor-based project, so it's no longer that. It's intersection by intersection. So, and I think they originally anticipated the first change in 3C to be next summer, if I remember correctly, but I feel like that was 3 weeks ago and my brain is not functioning.
Yeah, I think the idea is for our September meeting to have like a list of priorities identified. And then the changes will be issued if there are notice of intents needed. It will be on an intersection by intersection basis, but they asked us to prioritize which intersections we would like to see in 3C be tackled first, but if it doesn't take away parking or make major changes, then they're not going to issue the NOI and they're just going to move forward with what they need to do. So
Hmm.
more to come.
And we also discussed, sorry, not to cut you off, but we also discussed both the Arizona Avenue bike lane NOI as well as the NOI regarding the bus stop on 24th Street.
Commissioner Kripke.
I wasn't able to make the meeting, and I looked for but couldn't find the recording. Has it been posted? Or anyway, I'll look at it when it gets posted. But let me encourage you to do that.
Yeah,
Go
I'll
ahead.
post tonight. I apologize. I was lagging. We had like 20 some documents for this meeting.
I don't mean it as a criticism, just to say that there are a few nerds who do actually look at some things after the fact. So
I look at
I'm
them
one of
all
them.
the time, so I hear you.
Okay.
I apologize.
Even though I was there.
I'll do it either this evening or tomorrow. But yes, we'll make those available. Transparency and public process.
There's no update for that committee.
Okay, community engagement and grants.
Yes, the Community Engagement and Grants Committee will be meeting on the 29th. Look at our website for meeting information. We'll be considering 2 grants, one from the Woodley House and one from the Preservation League, I think it is. I expect to have an interesting and substantive discussion on both of those grants. So encourage people who are interested to join.
Super, thank you. Planning, zoning, housing, economic development.
I will defer to you.
Yeah, and I'm also spacing on what we discussed last month. It
The
was
set
OP,
down.
the comprehensive plan, not the comprehensive plan, the set down report for the change of zoning, the text amendment, map amendment for change of zoning in Woodley Park and Cleveland Park. It was set down on June 26th. A hearing date has still not been scheduled yet, but anticipated to be September, October, November period of time. We will come up with a formalized, response to that set down report, probably at our September meeting to make any kind of hearing schedule. But there will be robust public notice prior to that, and we'll make sure that there is significant engagement with ANC on this topic. So we will post the presentation from that meeting as well as the full set down report to our website, so folks don't have to dig through a zoning file to get to it, but we'll also link to the full zoning case file for this, so people can submit their own comments as they feel inspired. So that's all on planning, zoning, housing, and economic development, unless any of my other co-chairs have anything they want to add. Okay. Residential historic preservation. Commissioner Kripke.
Since Commissioner Nash isn't here, I'll just report that we did consider the proposal from on 34th Street and heard a presentation from the developer, I think it was. And so we have reviewed it, but we've since gotten some information that some of the neighbors haven't been fully consulted. So that's why we're putting off and want to try to get some more information there. I think that's the only report. It was a pretty short meeting.
Okay. Super. Environmental justice.
No report, but we'll be picking up in September.
Super. Public safety.
We did not have a what month are we in? July meeting. It's been a really interesting month here. We did not have a July meeting. We may be meeting on the 30th, but we are just waiting for MPD to confirm and for Commissioner Nash to confirm that that's the date that he would like to meet on. That is a delay from a week that we normally would meet, but I think we got confused with the first Thursday happening on the same week as the first Monday of this month. Sorry, the second Thursday happening on the first same week as the first Monday. So that would just be a week shift, but other than that, we have not met since May.
Okay. Hybrid virtual in-person meeting task force. I think our next
No.
goal is November.
Yes, so we'll get the group together to discuss some options before then.
Yes, and I think that the goal is to get whatever kit, the low cost kit that OANC has assembled products for, get that into our budget for next fiscal year so we can just take care of it.
And I've asked for a number, and I'm still waiting from OANC on the number.
Got it.
And I've heard from other ANCs that have similar kits. I don't know if we're allowed to hire them to come help us, but they've offered. So there's that option too, but could get us in a little bit of trouble, but we'll see. But yeah, it would be good to convene the task force and move those things forward as soon as possible.
We'll
All
try to
right.
get together in the next few weeks here.
Cool. All right, moving on to mayor, council, agency, and community organizations. Do we have anybody from the mayor's office here? Or
I'm here.
okay, go ahead, Kendall.
Hi. I just wanted to share about one thing quickly. I wanted to promote the Office of the Clean City's Adopt a Block program. With this free program, the Office of the Clean City will provide you with all the materials to clean up 2 blocks of your choosing that haven't already been adopted. And the goal is to clean them up quarterly. I actually just did it. It's a great way to be involved in your community. I just adopted the street that I live on, and plan to clean it up quarterly. And when I was going through the process, I noticed that of all the wards in DC, Ward 3 has the lowest number of adopted blocks. So I'd like to see that change, and encourage a little bit of community participation within this program. So to get more involved, please visit adoptablock.dc.gov. And if permissible, I'll just put that link in the chat. But that's all I have.
Well, my building adopted my block, so just
Oh,
saying,
good. Okay, I'm happy.
we've had that for years. So
Let me
nobody,
know when you
Carmel
have
just
cleanup.
adopted my block.
yeah. It is really fun to be out there, and Adam makes fun of me when he sees me out there with my
I don't make fun of you. It's
My
just very
neighbor.
early on a Saturday morning for me. So
And you get a sign with your name on it on the block.
Yeah,
So,
but can we discuss later, not at this meeting, that the sign faces the street,
uh-huh.
Connecticut Avenue, where it should face the pedestrians who are like basking in our nice, clean sidewalk area?
ours faces the sidewalk.
Well, then mine needs to get turned around.
Yeah, I'll talk to the new Office of the Clean City director about it and see if we can make a switcheroo.
Okay, cool. It's
Yeah,
right
no
in front
problem.
of me, Warren.
Okay.
All right. Moving on, thank you for that. To council, Trisha, are you here for some updates? All right.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I do have some updates for you all. So first, update on the budget. The council held its first vote on the FY26 budget last Monday, July 14th, and the second vote is going to be next Monday, July 28th. Councilmember Freeman wants to thank everyone who has provided input on the budget, and please don't hesitate to continue providing input because it really is appreciated. Next is about the new bus network, which I'm sure everyone knows about. So on June 29th, WMATA launched the Better Bus Network. And if you need help adjusting to the changes, WMATA does have their online trip planner that can help you get to where you want to go. And if you still have questions about the new bus network, the Chevy Chase Community Association and Friends of Bus Transit are having a virtual forum on Wednesday, July 23rd from 7 p.m. to 8:45 p.m. on Zoom. That's going to have an in-depth look on how the changes impact the routes. So I will put that Zoom registration link in the chat in a minute. Next, a lot of Ward 3 residents are noticing a rise in their PEPCO bills this summer. So this is partially due naturally to the hotter weather and higher air conditioning use, but the increased energy costs are also a result of regional and national trends affecting how our electricity is sourced and priced. So if you're having issues paying for your electricity bills, then PEPCO does have bill assistance and energy saving programs. So that's going to be at pepco.com/bill support for resources to manage your bill. DOEE also has a utility discount program, and you can look into community solar programs as well. Next, the council will hold public hearings on the Robert F. Kennedy Campus Redevelopment Act of 2025, which is the stadium deal with the Commanders, on Tuesday, July 29th and Wednesday, July 30th, beginning at 10 a.m. at the Wilson Building. The first day is going to be public testimony, so sign up if you have something to say. And the second day will be invited testimony from the mayor's office and representatives from the commanders themselves. So you can find more information about that, and you can watch the hearings online at the DC Council website. And lastly, our next newsletter is going out on Thursday, July 31st. So if you're not signed up already, you should sign up at mattfreemanword3.com, and you can also follow us on social media to get updates. And that is all I have.
Super, thank you. All right, any other agencies here from DC Gov? Right, I don't see or hear from any. So community organizations. Go ahead, Cassandra.
Thank you very much, Janelle. So we're in the middle of District Bridges Summer Bucket List, which is a fun staycation in the district. If you go to the District Bridges website, you have now until August 15th to complete activities and win prizes. Tomorrow night at 5:30 p.m. at Paragon Thai, Stitch and Sip. It's a free event. This Thursday along the promenade from 5 to 9 p.m. is the night market. And believe it or not, it's not going to rain this week. It's exciting. And I also realized, because we're not having an August meeting, that I should tell you Friday, September 12th from 5 to 10 p.m. is Art All Night. We are going to have a lot of entertainment. Super excited about the glow-in-the-dark body paint that's going to happen in the back of Femme Fatale. We're going to place some black lights in different businesses, so when you go in, if you're painted, you'll glow. We've got a main stage in the Sam's Park and Shop, vendors, poetry, on-the-spot poetry, all sorts of things. The website is not up to date yet, but it will be soon. Thank you.
Super, thank you. Jack.
So, hi, everybody. Thanks for allowing me the opportunity to speak up. My name is Jack Toby Carvalho, and I am the chair of the Woodley Park Business Foundation. We're a 501c3 founded by Woodley Park business owners, property owners, and residents. We have formed our community organization to fill in the gaps left by the entity that ran our Main Street program in Woodley Park, the historic DuPont Circle Main Street. They ran our program for a few years, but decided at the end of April they no longer wanted to manage our Main Street. When this happened, our organization stepped up, and we have been on the ground in the neighborhood, assisting businesses with their day-to-day needs and issues. As our neighborhood looks to transition away from the DuPont-led program, we hope to be in the running for, or to partner with, a new Main Street program for the neighborhood. And we really thank the ANC for their continued support of the Main Street program and for allowing me the opportunity to speak. So thank you.
Yes, and happy to support, and thank you guys for stepping up and helping each other, and we're happy to support, of course. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Great. Cal.
Hi. Oh, I'm in the dark here. That time of the day when the sun shines from behind me. So I am new to coming to a 3C meeting. I've been visiting other ANCs for the last couple of months, but your meeting often collides with one of our monthly meetings up in 34G, which is where I am located. I am one of the co-founders of the Friends for Bus Transit that Tricia mentioned, who's putting on this event on Wednesday night about the buses. I probably know more about the details of the buses than just about anybody for the service west of Rock Creek Park and in lower Montgomery County. So thanks, Tricia, for mentioning that, and if you put that in the chat, that would be great. You can also get that information if you're just going to ccadc.org. That's Chevy Chase Community Association, dc.org. I also want to mention that we're trying to plan this with Matt Fruman and whatnot, and we haven't gotten that far yet because I just sent an email out Friday to do a feedback session. This session we're doing on Wednesday is an informational session for people to get their questions answered and get unconfused. About 2 weeks after that, we're going to do a feedback session where we gather information about it, because I work with a lot of people directly inside of WMATA, and so do some of the other members of our team as well, as they do with DDOT. So we're sort of an advocacy group with Friends of Bus Transit. So that brings me to item 2, which is that one of the reasons I've been visiting the different ANCs in Ward 3 is we're looking to work with or partner with other transportation interested folks, some of which have transportation committees, some of which don't. So if you all have somebody who would like to work with us, we haven't exactly figured out what that looks like, whether that may be expanding the Friends of Bus Transit to different chapters around the area, or whether that means maintaining separate entities, all to be explored. But we're very interested in discussing that with people outside of Chevy Chase. And the third thing, which isn't related to any of this, and I don't know that I'll be here or that you allow the community member to speak during the consent items, but Chevy Chase Day has been scheduled for September 20th, which I notice is the same day that you are talking about doing Woodley Park Day. So I don't know, that seems like a date collision to me. I just wanted to mention that as well.
Okay, great. We are huge fans of Better Bus here in 3C. I can probably rival your knowledge. I'm deeply big bus fan. I'm a top 1% rider, as you can see by my award.
Yes, I saw that. Maybe we should just trade emails or something, you and I, and have a chat.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I guess I can get your email off the website unless you have another one.
yeah, no, I prefer the 3C03 at ANC.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, no,
Great.
happy to help and brainstorm.
Love to have another bus ally.
Yes. Yeah. Top user.
I'll just say one last thing. I've been riding these buses since I was 10 when my parents moved to Chevy Chase. And until the 29th of June, they had the same bus lines and the same bus numbers all for like 63 years. So it's a big change, a big shift. Not all of it's great. So I've been looking forward to talking about that and hopefully seeing some of you on Wednesday's event. We did it in person in June, just before the rollout of the Better Bus Plan. And we had twice as many people come out as we expected on the hottest day of the year. So we're doing a Zoom version of it this week.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you again for sharing and inviting, and look forward to it. All right. Anybody else have community announcements from community organizations? Connor.
Hi, everyone. I'm Connor O'Brien. It's my first time being at one of these meetings. I live in the 3C08 district. I take care of a community garden in front of the Russian embassy growing sunflowers. We are in talks right now with Matt Fruman's office to make the garden, the area we planted on, like kind of like semi-recognized by the city government, so it gets like some protection status. This year, we're very lucky to have it planted on private land. A developer isn't developing his property this year, so he's letting us put it there. But we're hoping to work with the city council on that, and I will give you guys updates as that develops. And for those of you who don't know, sunflowers are the national flower of Ukraine. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Ukraine, so we put it across the street from the Russian embassy as a little tongue in cheek. So yeah,
we see what you're doing there, and clearly Aaron supports. So, yeah, well done, and let us know how, if in any way, that ANC3C can support what you're doing. I know there have been other community gardens and organizations that do those things that we try to help out with. So obviously you're in the ANC, if you're in the SMD, and just, yeah, keep in touch and let us know. And thank you for sharing. And don't be a stranger to our meetings.
Certainly will do. Thank you very much. I've found out about the Adopt a Block program tonight, so very happy.
Right, Commissioner Kripke.
That's a great synergy. That's why you come to these important meetings. But Connor, do you have anything online to I love the garden. I've noticed it before. This is the first time I heard you or talk about it. But do you have like a website or anything like that, or is there any other expression of what you're doing?
So we don't have a formal website. It's the organization that formally does it is called the U.S. Ukrainian Activist Organization. I'm not formally with them, but I live close to the garden, so I became the water boy because they're all like, "Well, who's going to water them?" So I'm happy to help them out. But there is a Instagram page for the garden. The garden has been it's been written about on the New York Times, the Washington Post, and the Washington D.C. Garden Monthly. I'd be happy to send that your way. I'm also happy. This is just kind of off the cuff, but I'd be happy to do a presentation at the September meeting.
Okay. Yeah, keep in touch and we'll keep that in mind for sure. Great. Thanks again. All right. Anybody else have any announcements from community organizations? I also just want to note that was a very impressive grouping of community organization announcements this month. So well done, everyone. All right, moving on to the next item in the agenda, which is the community forum, where members of the public are invited to ask questions and raise concerns about issues that are not otherwise on this agenda. Please, limit time to 2 to 3 minutes. Does anyone have anything for our community forum this evening? You can raise your virtual hand or come on camera and raise your real hand, and we'll try and spot you. All right, hearing and seeing none, we'll then move on to commission business. Our first item under commission business is ANC3C comments regarding the RFK Memorial Stadium campus redevelopment and Bill 26-0288, the RFK Redevelopment Act of 2025.
I'll take it.
Okay, Commissioner Prinzo.
So this letter is strictly on the actual legislation. It is a letter about both in support of the development or the redevelopment of this campus site. It does make some suggestions on housing goals and how to get to the housing goals that we would like to see that the developer is promising, or that the deal is promising. It makes some suggestions on transit infrastructure updates, such as bike, and rail, as well as a reduction in some parking because we're trying to build an urban stadium here. It does reference that Nationals Ballpark and Audi Field was a what they're calling anchor development for both Navy Yard and Buzzard Point, as well as the wharf for the waterfront, and then help drive residential development in those areas. There are other things I'm missing, I'm sure, but it's been a long day, so I'm gonna move that. Before I move it, I guess. It also asks that, as part of the deal, that it does seek job opportunities for district residents before outside hiring, and gives preference to Ward 7 and 8 residents, as well as minority and women-owned businesses. So I will move that.
There's a second? Commissioner Cookie is seconding. All right, we'll open it up to commissioners for discussion and then the community following that. Any commissioners want to discuss? I also put the letter in the chat so everyone can see what we're talking about.
And I also want to thank everybody for their edits these past couple of days, weeks.
Commissioners?
Hi, Commissioner Littauer 3C01 here. Sorry, I'm off camera as I'm having technical difficulties, but I just wanted to add a comment of gratitude to Commissioners Prinzo and Commissioner Paget for their work in assembling these comments, especially in the past couple of weeks. There's been a lot of consideration added to all that you've shared, and I just want to thank you for the thorough detail that you added. I look forward to voting yes. Thanks.
Super. All right, anyone in the community have anything they wish to contribute to this discussion? Glenn?
Hey, I just want to say that I am a little disappointed in this. I still don't think, being on the committee for economic development, I still don't think that this development is a good idea or that we should be supporting it. But at the same time, I respect everybody else's opinion.
Thank you. I don't know if probably not everyone is completely aware of this, but I too had hesitations with this, but taking from what the Robert Bob group, which was the consultant the council had hired to do a separate economic assessment and evaluation of whatever they can glean from that term sheet that was released or leaked. It provided some useful insight that I hope that the council considers in moving this legislation forward. I got a few things into this letter from there that I thought were the most important, but again, it just drops like Sunday at 6 p.m. So not a whole lot of time. But just an FYI. But thank you for your thoughts. Anyone else from the community? You can raise your virtual hand or come on camera and raise your hand. All right. I have not seen any. All right. Any? Barbara, go ahead.
Thank you, commissioners. I just wanted to note that the Washington Interfaith Network Ward 3 congregations were very happy to see ANC3C's draft resolution. Just wanted to note that.
Thank you, Barbara. And look forward to participating more in your groups. Insights and inputs on this too.
Thank you.
I'm trying to find a link to that report. And while I'm at it, I'm gonna link to the council site for the hearing sign up, because that's also where the report for the Robert Bob group, that was produced is conveniently located. So you can also,
I just dropped it in the chat.
oh, at the same
Oh,
time,
we both did.
those links are the same. But this is a way that you can look at that report. You can also submit your testimony. You don't need to sign up to testify live or show up down there. The record's usually open for 2 weeks or 1 week. So there's still time
10
after
days.
10 days after the hearing to get your comments into the record. So don't feel like beholden to the deadline of next Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Thank you. All right. Any other discussion on this before we move to a vote? All right. Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor of sending these comments on the RFK redevelopment bill, raise your hand or say aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's nobody else here to oppose and nobody else here to abstain. So that passes 7-0. And thank you, Commissioners Prinzo and Littauer, for your work on doing that. Okay, moving on to our next item in commission business, which is the letter in support for maximum flexibility in the RA-1 zoning regulations. This is case 25-08 and is a map and text amendment. Commissioner Kripke, you want to introduce and move? Okay.
Yes, thank you. This is a letter to the Office of Planning is proposing changes to the zoning to allow RA1 to basically give by right development, expand the by right development to extend what are usually single family households, sometimes attached, sometimes detached, and allow them to be increased to up to 3 units without by right, without getting a zoning exemption, just a bit. And it's generally supported by ANCs in other parts of the city would have more RA1. We have in ANC3C just a little bit of RA1. So it's relevant to us, although I don't think would have a huge impact here. Nonetheless, I think it's generally good practice for allowing property owners to develop more housing and trying to deal with the housing crisis and affordability crisis in our city. So this letter just expresses support for the changes generally that OP has put out. I'm open to changes to the letter if anybody has thoughts on that. But I thought it would be good for our community to express support for these changes. So I would like to move the letter for discussion and debate. And
is there a second? Super. All right, commissioners, and then to the communities. So any commissioners have any comments on this letter? Commissioner Bose.
Right. Thank you, Commissioner Kripke, for taking the time to put these comments together. The letter looks really thoughtful, and I do agree with the sentiment that anything that's going to help us kind of alleviate the housing crisis here in Ward 3 is probably a good thing. I am curious about, I know in the letter you asked for them to approve by right development up to 10 units in RA1 zones. I'm wondering how you kind of landed on that 10 unit number, and if there's any flexibility to even ask for more. I mean, I really think we should be asking for the maximum density we could possibly get. But otherwise, thank you for putting this together.
To be totally candid about it, what Office of Planning has suggested is up to 3 units without exemption. I thought that sounded. I just picked a number out of the hat. It's more than 3. I understand there are other advocates pushing for a bigger number. and like, I don't know what the right number is, but I think more than 3 would be good. So if you want to make a proposal and others want to support it, I'd be happy to change it in the letter.
Got it. Yeah, I have heard other folks pushing to ask for up to 16, and I would want to, if others are on board, I'd like to adjust the text to reflect that request as well.
I think sorry, Commissioner Prinzo, because my comment was kind of going to be on the same vein of this
Go
bit,
ahead.
where it's really difficult to do this by unit, like, because it should really be by the density of what's allowable by like the footprint of the building, and however you demise that into however many units you can make it, like, do that. So like my challenge is here, like, I don't want to say like anything up to 3 units or anything up to 10 or anything up to like like no number whatsoever. We don't put any limits on how many bedrooms somebody can build in a single family home, ever. Have you ever seen that? Because there are homes here in this area that are on the market that have 8, 10 bedrooms. There, so it makes no sense to me to even put that number on it, because we don't do it for single family homes. But also in like the, zoning regs, I think there has to be a number there so that like, I feel like the number has to exist somewhere in that bit. I don't think it should, but I don't know. I think I think the more perfect language would be like build to the density that's allowed in the zoning of the property. And then this comes in with like a certificate of occupancy. I remember we had one case a few years ago where the property owner had demised the building into 9 units, and one of those was not allowed under current zoning. So therefore they had to go back to BZA, and it just was a hot mess. And really unfortunate that they didn't end up moving forward with the project at all, which was actually a really cool project. So I don't know. I'm not being helpful, and I apologize. But I'm kind of comfortable with 10, but if we want to say 16, I'm cool with that too. But yeah. I don't know if you guys have any response, or if we want to go to Commissioner Prinzo and then Commissioner Littauer. Commissioner Kripke.
Well, let me just react. I mean, the reason the units are mentioned is it's in the zoning regs, and it's part of the proposal. A more comprehensive reform, as you're saying, is probably a good idea. I certainly would support it, but more narrowly for the issue in front of us, I think saying something about number of units would be a good idea. And I said 10 because it's I think Office of Zoning's proposal, which is basically 3, is too low. 10 may be too low also. I don't know. I guess I don't really care, as long as we register that we think they're being under ambitious in terms of how much to liberalize the policy. So I'm open to ideas, and I don't know if we want to keep discussing it or whatever, but I'll stop there and let the conversation go on.
Okay. No, I concur with what you just said there. Commissioner Prinzo.
I just was gonna thank Commissioner Kripke for sending this over. I would say either stick with the 10 or 15, because in my crazy OCD mind, 16 is a number that is not perfectly rounded to a 5. So that's just my crazy head. But I know everybody doesn't think that way. So, but definitely thank you for writing this.
Commissioner Littauer.
I concur and add my gratitude to Commissioner Kripke and for all the comments that have been added by Commissioners Paget, Bose, and Prinzo. The only thing I would add, and it's out of appreciation for the comment that you added, Commissioner Paget, is that if we're hoping to, not box ourselves in by adding a maximum by which people can develop by right. We can also do the opposite and say no fewer than, create a minimum to say that, we encourage by right residential development, no fewer than 3 units to accelerate an open-ended maximum cap, if that makes sense. So it's a vernacular adjustment that instead of creating a maximum limit, it actually requires density as a preference rather than capping density instead. So let me know if this makes sense. I'd be interested in, instead of saying up to 10 units or more, saying no fewer than 3 units. Because if
Just
that's
to understand,
if that's the Office of Planning's recommendation, then not only should it pass, but it should also be no fewer than what they're passing. If this makes sense. Go ahead, Commissioner Kripke.
yeah, I mean, just to understand it, you're saying, I think if you inserted no fewer in that, you would say that you would need an exemption for a residential development that had no fewer than three, or I
I
I'm
suppose
not sure
that's
that.
not very advantageous. I'm with you in tracking this. I suppose when it comes to if it's in an RA1 zone, perhaps a minimum is not the best strategy. If it was a mixed use residential facility, then it would be more advantageous to add a minimum. In this case, I'm open to consideration of how we can leave this open-ended to encourage as maximum density and housing development as possible.
Okay.
Commissioner Shaban?
I just want to echo the suggestion there from Commissioner Littauer. I think that's a great idea. Having a floor is definitely a way to drive density and make our long-term planning actually, something that can support the services in the area.
Instead of no fewer than, can you write would require an exemption for fewer than, instead if you drop the no fewer and the no and no fewer than? Or is
I
my
think
English not Englishing?
if you're in a zoning area that has mostly single family housing, and you have a property owner that wants to rebuild a house and put in a single unit just to replace the house, or to put in a 2-unit house.
Yeah, I
I
see
think
what
what
you're
we're saying is that they need to get an exemption to do that, and I don't think that's really a viable
Yeah.
position.
I agree, Commissioner Kripke, and so I'm willing to be flexible on not having a firm minimum or maximum, but for future zoning letters or draft resolutions that we submit, I'd be interested in including things like minimums to encourage maximal growth, even though I'm in agreement with you here that this isn't the best zone to offer such a minimum.
Okay, I think we should try to wrap this. I'd like to accept a friendly amendment if somebody wants to offer one on the language. I put in 10. I'm open to other numbers or some other construction which encourages more than 3, or which is what the Office of Planning is suggesting, or something like that. Or I can just leave it at 10. I mean, I don't feel that strongly about it, as long as it's pushing for more than what Office of Planning is saying.
I think that by adding or more, I think we can even leave things as are, showing that since we're already saying 10 or more, we're open to increasing density as best we can.
Okay.
In terms of first steps, I think this is a great pragmatic step in the right direction.
Thank you. Thanks for the discussion.
I agree. Are there any other members of the community wishing to weigh in on this item? You can raise your virtual hand or come off on camera. Cal.
Oops. I just want to say it's refreshing to hear folks talk about being open to increasing density, because up here in 3-4G, this is pretty much off limits.
I mean, again, you're always welcome to join us here, Cal. 3C is fun. Appreciate that comment. We like it here and we want more neighbors. That's kind of our philosophy. Anybody else from the community wish to weigh in on this item? Last call. All right. Any other commissioners have anything else to add before we take this to a vote? Hearing and seeing none, this vote is on the letter of support for maximum flexibility in the RA1 zoning regulations regarding case 25-08. All those in favor, raise your hand or say aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's nobody left to be opposed or abstained, so that passes 7-0 to 0. And again, Commissioner Kripke, I really want to also extend my thanks for putting that together and getting it on the table. All right. You're up next with the treasurer's report.
Okay.
So if you want to kick that off.
Okay.
Because I know we have a number of extraneous items under this that we're going to need to take some votes on that they're reflected in the minutes. But if you want to start with the basic report.
Right.
Cool.
Yes. Let me start with just a report, which is for the last month. We've had very little to report from the Treasury. We had an interest payment into our savings, and we had a service fee in our checking for $5. That's pretty much up to report. I made an error, which shows up, which is I transferred funds from our savings to checking and then realized I'd made the error and reversed it immediately. So that shows up, but it should have no consequence for the balances or anything at this point. So that's the report. I sent this report around to commissioners earlier. We have two items to review and approve in this meeting. Our current quarterly financial report for third quarter and a revision to our second quarter report. I'll start with the revision. We wrote a check for Cleveland Park Day in quarter 2, and it was cashed in quarter 3. And according to the city's or the OANC's rules, should have been registered in their system in quarter 2, which I didn't do. I registered it in quarter 3, and they need us to revise our quarterly financial report. So, I need to get our ANC to approve a revision of our quarter 2 financial report to reflect that. And so let's see, how do I do that? What should I move that, or yeah?
Does anyone, so move the discussion for this change, and then we'll ask if anybody has questions. Well, second, and then
Okay, so I move to accept a revision of the quarterly financial report for quarter 2, which has already been filed, but now needs to be revised to reflect the accounting as how the city does it. So I move that we approve that.
Second.
Okay, thank you.
anyone have any questions on the commission? Is this clear to everyone? We're all understanding. Okay.
Is it clear? I understand it, but is it clear is the better question.
Well, okay. Is the red clear? No, but we're fixing it. Okay. So all those in favor of approving the revised amended fiscal year 25 Q2 quarterly financial report, raise your hand or say aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's nobody here to oppose it or abstain from it. The vote needs to be recorded as 7-0 to 0. that we have amended or approved the amendment of the Q2 report.
Thank you.
Don't worry, I'll sign
Okay.
it. Go on.
Okay, great. Second, we have another, the current quarterly financial report, which I sent around, but on careful review looks a little janky. I think it's because of this transfer I made in error and reversed immediately, but the totals in this report don't look quite right. So I need to mess around with the system and figure out why it's reporting it incorrectly. So Janelle, help me out here. Is there a way to try to approve the quarterly financial report with technical amendments to come, or do I need to put this off to a month, or what's the best way to do this?
He can.
Well, we'll miss the deadline if we don't. Let's do it this way to say, what are the, so it looks like all the transactions are there where we transferred $164,000 from our checking to our savings account, correct?
We did, but then we immediately reversed 84,000 of that back.
Okay, so can you give us, and we had no other disbursements regarding personnel, office, communications, office supply, grants, like any of the other line items under that, other than this transfer to savings.
Right.
Can you just read off the ending balance of the checking account and ending balance of the savings account as they will be reflected in this report after it's amended for technical and conforming edits?
Yes, hold on. So the it doesn't look right.
Should we put it off next month if you're not comfortable with it?
Yeah, it doesn't. There's something funny about it, and I apologize for not having flagged this and sorted it, but I don't think I can just do the math right here correctly.
Okay,
and read out the numbers. Yeah,
we can push it off until September,
Yeah.
because it also looks like our allotment isn't included in this, but we might not have gotten the allotment since we apparently.
right. We didn't, because they need us to revise the Q2, so they didn't give us our allotment.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it is kind of what it is, and it's kind of an error on OANC's fault for their program being.
Yeah. It's
buggy.
nice. I'll get on that. My apologies to the commission for not having sorted this beforehand, and I'll bring it back to you in September. But we did get the Q2 revised, which will help us, and we'll get our allotment as a result.
Yes, and we'll be able to, well, these minutes are going to reflect that, so they're not getting those till September either, so tough. Commissioner Prinzo.
Just, I was gonna go before we went to the budget for Woodley Park Day.
Yes, we have 2 items that are considered direct expenses that would fall under the treasurer's report, which don't need to be itemized as agenda items because we've already approved direct expenditures budget within the larger budget that we approved last year for this fiscal year. So that's, I'm giving reasoning in case there's questions later from a certain group. None of you, but so one of the first item I would like to move is with Cleveland Park Day having been rained out earlier this year in June, we had given $3,000 to support the rentals for the stage and AV equipment and things like that for that event. I would like to move that we're officially going to have those funds be used for art all night for the same items, the same amount of money. We do not need to reissue the check. It will be for those same exact items at the same exact cost, which was $1,000. I'm moving that. Seconded. Any questions? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor of that move, please.
Wait, sorry, Cassandra had her hand. Do we want to let Cassandra say something?
Do you need to add something, Cassandra, or can we just move along?
Just move.
Okay, we're supporting the event. All those in favor, raise your hand or say aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's nobody that's going to be here to abstain, so 7 is, or to say no or abstain, so 7 is 0 to 0. All right, Commissioner Prinzo, the second item under direct expense.
I am going to move just a slight amendment to that. I originally think I sent around 5,000. We are lowering that to 3 because the money that was originally promised for that event from Woodley Park Main Streets has been transferred via DSLBD to the Woodley Park Community Association. So we do not have to make up that funding anymore. So with that, I am going to move a direct expenditure of no more than 3,000 or not to exceed amount of $3,000 to support Woodley Park Day, which again is September 20th.
I'll second. And the group has been notified that they do need to provide us with the itemized receipts of what they're spending
Yes.
our funds on, so that we can report that detail as direct expenses under this not to exceed.
Yep.
fund. Super. Are there questions from the commissioners? All right, cool. So we'll move to a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand or say aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Any in opposition? Nobody else is here. Nobody's abstaining. So that's 7 is 0 to 0. That passes and those funds are approved. Okay, so now we'll move to the budget discussion for fiscal year 26. Commissioner Kripke, you didn't prepare like a draft spreadsheet or anything for this, and no means did you have to. I was just wondering.
No, I'm sorry, I hadn't realized we had this. I do want to have a budget discussion, but I'd like to nominate it for September, and I'd like to make a zero draft budget. What I would ask commissioners is to think about the budget for next year and to think about projects and ambitions we might have as a commission for next year. We have a lot of funds sitting in our bank account, and I personally don't think there's any value in ANC holding a lot of funds. So if there are useful things we can do with them that are eligible for ANCs, we should consider them. And we've been basically spending our budget and no more. And I think we should consider spending more than our budget because we have a lot in our savings. So I invite you to think creatively about how ANC3C might spend some funds in the coming year that's more and different than what we've done in the past.
I strongly second that and encourage creativity and ambition. Even if you think OANC's gonna say no to something, we've changed minds in the past, and happy to continue to do so because it not only benefits our commission area, other ANCs are able to use it as precedent to benefit theirs as well. So, and also feel free to steal ideas from other commissions. So totally encourage that because I feel like it's a level of flattery when they do like take our ideas and lift and shift. And I hope that they feel the same way when we look at them for inspiration too. So I agree that like let's be ambitious because yes, this is not doing any good now in a savings account rather than checking, but in a better place than savings. Any questions or comments on that from anybody else in the group or the community? All right, Cassandra.
Is landscaping allowed?
That's questionable, but we can't duplicate any efforts that your organization is capable of doing on its own.
The library reached out to me today and wanted me
We are
to,
definitely not allowed to fund the library.
not allowed to mow the library's grass. Okay.
No,
Thank-
they are a fellow district agency. That's
Well, that's a bummer.
great delineation. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that's been brought up a number of times.
Mm.
I'm going to totally ruin this name. Gazid? Sorry.
Yes, hi.
I apologize.
Yes, my comment is not before you adjourn, I'd like to ask the question when we can present this 3107 34th Street project that you moved out of the consent calendar today.
That we can cover offline with the commissioners that are chairing the Residential Historic Preservation Housing Committee. And Zach, this is your SMD, correct? Okay, and the single member district commissioner. So that's who needs to be looped in as to who can hear that, but it would be at our next committee meeting whenever, hopefully, I think it's early September that would be held. Okay.
Well,
we can't argue that.
That's
sorry.
Well, we've tried to be in this calendar for a while, and then all of a sudden this came up as out of the consent calendar.
You'll include me in any of the correspondence, and I'll try to and make sure that this gets looped in the September business. But this is kind of not, we can't discuss that at this meeting at this time. Okay. Any other commission business that is outstanding? All right, with that, we move to adjournment.
Yeah, I move a motion to adjourn.
All right, all in favor? All right, enjoy August, or see you next week.